हाँ हाँ, मैं आ गई। हाँ, चल रहा है ना फिर सब सही? ठीक है ना, मतलब सब सही है ना? यूट्यूब गूगल मीट में ओके काम। अरे गूगल मीट में तो मैं आऊँ यार, ये अभी से मैसेज आ गया, कोई दुपाली मेहर आउटसाइड दौलत राम कॉलेज वांट्स टू जॉइन दिस मीटिंग। इनको कैसे? हाँ, तो इसको नहीं, तो इसको लिंक कैसे मिला? तो अभी इसको डिनाई एंट्री कर दूं क्या? या यार, ये तो लोग अभी हेलो, ये तो अभी से आना शुरू हो गया, आनंदिता चक्रवर्ती। हाँ, एक बार एंड करूं क्या? बंद बंद करती हूँ, चलो ठीक है। हम्म। नहीं, क्या मालूम, कैसे पता? अच्छा, अभी हम दो ही देख रहे हैं। अच्छा ठीक है, और मैं कह रही थी अब हम ना ऑडियो ऑन कर लें क्या? मतलब ऑडियो और वीडियो, मतलब उनको बोल देते हैं कि प्लीज आवर गेस्ट विल बी जॉइनिंग विद इन 5-10 मिनट्स, प्लीज बी विद अस। गुड मॉर्निंग सर। गुड आफ्टरनून सर। Just-
Hello, you are Poonam?
yes sir, good
Okay.
afternoon sir।
Good afternoon. All
Good
fine?
afternoon। Yes
Acha,
sir,
voice is audible, no problem.
yes sir, it's all perfectly audible।
And picture is clear?
yes sir, बिल्कुल, it is clear। हाँ जी सर।
चलो अभी तो टाइम है, मैं फिर अभी थोड़ी देर में आता हूँ, ठीक
श्योर
है?
सर, श्योर सर, ओके,
थैंक यू।
गुड। ओके।
पूनम मैम, कई सारे लोग ना वीडियो ऑन कर रखा है।
हाँ यस।
तो प्लीज, ये गूगल मीट में बोल रहा हूँ, प्लीज आई एम नरेश, सब लोग अपना ऑडियो वीडियो म्यूट कर रखिएगा। जब क्वेश्चन पूछेगा तब आपको ये सब इनेबल करनी है। आप कोई भी इनेबल करोगे तो हमें बहुत प्रॉब्लम आ रही है कम्युनिकेशन में। तो प्लीज फ्रेंड्स।
Good afternoon, everyone. We will be starting at 3 o'clock. So please mute your audio and video so that it does not create any problem. हेलो मैम, मैम अभी वो है ना वेबिनार है, सर ने ज्वाइन कर लिया है। हाँ जी हाँ जी। ओके मैम, वी आर वेटिंग। हेलो सर। हेलो सर। सर, our principal ma'am will be joining in a minute.
Hello, Poonam. I have joined.
Oh, hello. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Uh,
So, shall we start?
yeah, sure. If this Professor Bakshi has joined,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He is joined.
yeah. So we can
Sir,
start.
sir, you need to unmute yourself. Okay.
Yes. You can give a couple of minutes, let more people join if possible.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure, sir. It's just, yes, sir. Abhi we have time. We have 2 more minutes left for 3 o'clock, so we can wait.
Yeah. Namaskar, sir. I'm Savita here.
नमस्कार
Yeah.
कैसे हैं आप? ठीक हैं?
How are you, sir?
Very fine, thank you. Thank you.
I attended one of your CPDHE courses when I was a assistant professor.
Oh my God!
You were director in CPDHE, sir.
You remember that? Huh?
Yeah, sir, I remember.
Your discipline is physics. Huh?
Physics, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Anyway,
Yeah.
reviving old memories. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, yeah, we were neighbors actually. You were in chemistry department. I did my PhD also in physics department. So we know you. You may not know us as a student.
Right.
We know the professors, all the professors, but
Right.
less
So nice.
interaction.
Please do not present your screens. Please do not present your screen. It's a humble request. Please do not present your screen, whosoever. Only click on join now and not present your screen. Anindra Sharma, please, it's a request. Do not present your screen. Anindra Sharma, please. So shall we start?
You can start, please.
Okay. A very good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Department of Mathematics, Daulatram College, I take this opportunity to welcome our guest speaker who will be sharing his views with us on the topic Technology-Enabled Higher Education in India, Opportunities and Challenges. A very learned personality, a person with great academic excellence, a double gold medalist in the field of chemistry, having postdoctoral training from prestigious universities from the countries in like Germany and Japan. So we feel truly privileged to have amongst us Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I also welcome our principal, ma'am, Dr. Savita Roy. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you for joining us. And now I would also like to welcome all the participants who have joined us from all over the country. Thank you so much for such an overwhelming response. I welcome one and all. And without any further delay, I would request our principal, ma'am, to introduce our guest of honor to the audience. Ma'am, over to you.
Namaskar, and it is my great privilege, in fact, to introduce Professor Bakshi, and he is not a new person or new name in University of Delhi, and I will still treat him as one of our professors. And he was was professor and head of the chemistry department of University of Delhi till 2011, and he was heading as a director of Institute of Life Learning as well as Center for Professional Development in Higher Education, CPDHG of University of Delhi during 2008 to 11. Sir, you are most welcome. Sir is currently founder vice chancellor of PDM University Bahadurgarh in Haryana. He has been executive director of Tertiary Education Commission of Mauritius during October 2013 to February 2015. Professor Bakshi held the prestigious Sri Shankar Lal Chair of Chemistry in the University of Delhi for more than 2 decades and was also head of the chemistry department. Professor Bakshi has served as director, chairman of National Resource Center of Chemistry, NRCC of MHRD, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of MHRD, and Center for E-Learning. All the three centers presently are located at SGTV Khalsa College in the University of Delhi. Sir, you have been member of the standing committee of many commissions and national level committees, and your contribution in chemistry cannot be, counted in a few minutes. However, to mention few, you have been member of standing committee of National Mission on Education through ICT, very relevant nowadays. He has been chairman of National Science Digital Library (NSDL) project of which is a NSDL projects of the CSIR in both chemistry and polymer science in 2005 and 6. He was also the chairman of the Content Advisory Committee of Chemistry for Sakshat portal of MHRD Government of India. Sir, you have been visiting scientist at Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, 1989 and 1991, and the Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore, 87 and 1982. Sir has authored hundreds of books, and he has nearly 170 research education articles, 11 books, 51 e-books, all books, and 63 e-modules as for the PG chemistry courses. He has been member of National Writing Team for Chemistry for class 12th and class 11th books of NCERT during 2001 and 2003. 2003. Professor Bakshi has been recipient of several awards and academic honors such as World Education Award, Haryana Ratna Award, Bharat Jyoti Award, and he has been felicitated twice in September 2009 and December 2011 for his outstanding contribution to education by former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Professor Bakshi was elected as President of the Section of Chemical Sciences of the Indian Science Congress Association for the year 2011-12, and he has been member of the editorial board of Indian Journal of Chemistry. He has been member of various professional academic bodies and committees of MHRD, UGC, NAC, DST, CBSE, and NCERT, and various other universities and colleges. Last but not the least, Professor Bakshi has also the distinction of being one of the first person from the university in India to have been selected as member scientist of 3rd Indian research expedition to Antarctica way back in 1982. Sir has been a very, very active figure when he was in University of Delhi, and in fact, I remember I commented, we know him, but he may not know all of us. We are all his students, and we are still ready to learn from him. And sir, you are most welcome to talk today. Very relevant topic in view of pandemic. Suddenly, it was thrown open, and the university has met the challenge, I must say. And you can guide us further how to meet it. Thank you, sir, and you are most welcome, sir. You start your.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, madam. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Dr. Savita Roy, Principal of the college, and the patron of this national webinar for her very, very kind words of introduction. It's indeed a great pleasure and honor to be in this event today afternoon. As a matter of fact, I have been to Daulat Ram College a number of times.
Yes, sir.
And I still vividly remember those visits. But then some gap came because I was more into administration, first in Allahabad, then in Mauritius, then here. So I have been little bit cut off from University of Delhi, but still, you don't forget all those things. So I'm also very, very grateful to Dr. Seema Khurana, teacher in charge of the Department of Mathematics, Miss Poonam Lakotia, she is the convener, and Mr. Naresh Kumar Koda. They are all taking pains to organize this webinar, and I am especially grateful and thankful to Poonam. She has been very meticulous in ensuring that everything goes right.
Thank you so much, sir.
That's a very good quality, I am saying. So
Thank you so much.
keep it up, You have a great future ahead. And so
Thank you, sir.
I also extend my greetings to all the participants from all over the country and sincerely hope that you are safe and in the best of health and spirits. Because we are really passing through very, very difficult times. The times unheard of in our living memory are seen. Therefore, I think self-protection is very, very important. and I sincerely hope that you do the needful. So, coming to the talk, when I was approached, there were many options open to me. But then I thought, let me speak on technology-enabled higher education in India, how it is going to transform higher education in India, how we have to face the various challenges, and how we need to equip ourselves to meet those challenges. So keeping all those things in mind, I have chosen this topic, and now let me share my screen.
Maybe sir has left the meeting. Maybe he'll rejoin.
Let him join.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Poonam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, there was some problem, but anyway, let
No,
me
no.
share my screen.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Poonam, is my slide visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
And am I also audible
Yes, sir.
clearly?
Yes, sir. You're audible clearly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
So you see that this is the title of my talk, Technology-Enabled Higher Education in India, Challenges and Opportunities. Basically, technology, you will all agree, is an enabler. It helps us to do many things. It makes our lives easier and convenient. Then the logical conclusion is that why not education also? If you at present look at the practices and procedures of the various fields like banking, engineering, medicine, travel, tourism, all these have changed considerably during the last 2 to 3 decades. But the impact of technology on education has not been that significant so far. There could be many reasons. It is sometimes very surprising that education is perhaps the only sector still debating the usefulness of technology. So in my today's talk, I will basically talk on why we need to integrate technology with education, why it is the need of the hour, and many more questions. Because there is also an unfounded apprehension amongst the teachers that perhaps technology will replace them, or they will lose their jobs. Our future is not in this profession. I think all those fears we will try to eliminate today. This talk is basically divided in three parts. In part one, I will talk about the current higher education scenario and the challenges we face. And then in part two, I will talk about how technology is going to help us in facing those challenges or in meeting those challenges. And lastly, in part three, we will talk about what ahead, what next needs to be done for a country like India. So that is basically the presentation of my talk in three parts. Let me take the part one, which is the challenges in the 21st century. But before that, let's have a look at the current higher education scenario in India. As you can very well see here, we have at present 993 universities, 50,000 colleges, 1.4 million teachers, and 37.4 million students. And compare them in 1950. There has been no doubt a considerable growth. But despite all this growth, we still have only 26.3% gross enrollment ratio. That means out of all youth in the age group of 18 to 23, almost 1/4 are able to pursue higher education, and the rest remain deprived of. On one hand, we say India is one of the youngest nations of the world. But then if almost 3/4 of its youth are not able to pursue higher education and hence not able to contribute to the national development, it's a serious matter. Our target of gross enrollment ratio is 32% by 2022. And these days, one more small thing I would like to add. Instead of gross enrollment ratio, people are giving a new concept, that is EER, eligibility enrollment ratio. Their argument is that in this age group of 18 to 23, not all youth are eligible also. Yes, they have a point. That if we look at the eligible youth who are not able to pursue higher education, then we are relatively better. But that's a school of thought. And then, the international ranking of our institutions is quite poor. That means we know where do we stand. So there is a serious question of access and quality of education being imparted. You must have seen about 4 or 5 days back, QS World Rankings were announced. These rankings are for the year 2021. And here, the topmost from India is IIT Bombay with 172 position. And the rest you can see. And the only university which comes here is University of Delhi, but its position is also 501. So one needs to really think and introspect as to where we are faltering. Maybe that all these criteria are used in international rankings, but then why are not we able to improve? So the third problem besides access and quality is that we need to provide education with equity, not equality. This picture very clearly shows the difference between equality and equity. So one needs to take care of young who are not able to pursue and give them sufficient support so that all are at equal level. This is another thing. A few comments also about the importance of higher education, because we are in this sector. We should know how important this sector is. You will all agree that education is the most powerful weapon with which you can change the world. Yes, we have a very vast population, and if our people are educated, yes, we can be a force to reckon with. Higher education is the driving force of economic and social growth. It drives competitiveness and employment generation. All senior level positions, bureaucrats, professors, scientists, engineers, doctors, architects, all ultimately come out of higher education through us. So we have to understand our importance. Somebody very rightly said that the future or the destiny of the country is built in the classroom. So a very big responsibility rests on our shoulders. You know, people say that when the first doctor came, before that doctor, there must have been some teacher who taught him. So that is what. So teaching is one profession which creates all other professions. And please remember, students may be just 20% of our population taken together, but they are 100% of our future. Our entire future depends upon our students and how we educate them. You know, this is a very beautiful message which was written at the entrance gate of a university in South Africa. Destroying any nation does not require the use of atomic bombs or the use of long-range missiles. It only requires lowering the quality of education and allowing cheating in the examinations by the student. That's enough to destroy a nation. Patients will die at the hands of such doctors who will come out of that system. Buildings will collapse at the hands of such engineers. Money will be lost at the hands of such economists and accountants, and so on. Justice will be lost at the hands of such judges. That means the collapse of education is the collapse of the nation. So this is a very strong message to all of us. Collapse of education system is the collapse of the nation. We have to take adequate precautions that it does not happen so. Coming to the challenges in the 21st century, one biggest challenge which higher education sector is facing is the exponential growth of knowledge. The knowledge in all disciplines is growing very fast. The doubling time of knowledge has shrunk considerably. You know, I am from chemistry. I just give you one example. Chemists are the people who produce new substances in the laboratory. So there is an exponential growth in the number of chemical substances. According to a survey, in the year 1800, we had some hundreds of chemical substances. In 2025, we will have 80 billion, and by the end of this century, almost 5 billion. And each substance has its own unique properties. Number of elements in the periodic table has increased from 63 to 118. Another indicator. On instrumentation front, tremendous growth of new and modern instruments. So much, many of us even don't know what type of instruments are available and what all can be achieved using them. And the result is, because of all this, many new concepts, theories, ideas are emerging on the chemistry scene. And same is the case in physics, mathematics, botany, zoology, economics, commerce, political science. Everywhere knowledge is growing. There was a time when the doubling time of knowledge was 150 years. Then it became 50 years, then 5 years, and at present, the doubling time of human knowledge is 73 days. And if more digital technologies come, the prediction is it may come down to 12 hours. So for teachers, knowledge is ultimately everything, because we are disseminating knowledge. So why I am telling this, because we have to keep pace with this. Otherwise, we will be left behind. And you can very well imagine if we did our MA or MSc maybe 5 or 10 years back, how much backward we have become if we have not pursued it. Because of this growth of knowledge, research is becoming challenging because literature is becoming very vast. And then how will we tell to the future generations? Only by incorporating this growing knowledge in our education system. Another challenge is, in my opinion, our education system itself. You know, 3 things are very important. What do we teach? How do we teach? And how do we assess our students? And all this is to be done in a limited time. The problem starts, in my opinion, from class 11th onwards. I have been the author of NCERT national level chemistry books. I know that, for example, in chemistry 11th and 12th, there are 30 chapters. So much chemistry, as if chemistry is going to end after that. Many of the topics are outdated. New topics are not there, not many. The result is the gap between what is learned and what should be learned is increasing. No regular revision, and there is a lack of coordination between school education and higher education. This should be viewed as a continuum. So this is a serious matter. Even Professor C.N.R. Rao, the Bharat Ratna awardee, he said a few years back that the 90% of the universities in India have outdated curriculum. And the students who have graduated with that curriculum, how can we expect wonders from them? And now it was last month, a report came that now the whole school curriculum is being revised after 15 years. It will be reduced considerably, and it will have only essential elements, core essentials will be there. The second component which is important in education is teaching learning, and perhaps this is the most important. Unfortunately, our system focuses on examination, rote learning, and scoring high marks. That's basically the thing. In one sentence, if I have to say, I will say our education system does not challenge the minds of the student. Yes. Teachers teach, they take down notes, they mug up, reproduce in the examination. They are knowledgeable, but they don't know what to do with the knowledge. Then this is the today's reality. And it's in all disciplines. Everybody wants 90 plus marks. That is the target. I don't mean to say that those students who are with 90 plus, they are not intelligent or they are not bright. But the reverse is not always true. Our system does not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity amongst our students. There is less emphasis on the development of scientific temperament. Even we have scientists without scientific temperament. So scientific temperament is required as a part of our, India's constitution, one of the fundamental duties. Experimental work, activity work is poor. So much emphasis on learning and learning, but nobody tells them how to learn. One has to keep it in mind. We are all teachers. Learning is a 6-level hierarchy. Remembrance is at the bottom, then understand, then apply, then analysis, then evaluation, and at the top comes creativity. We have to take our students from knowledge, remembrance to creativity. But hardly it is done because very heavy syllabi, no scope for activities where all these things are possible. And that is why, things are as they are. I will show you one video, which is a 3-minute video, which gives an insight into the fundamental flaws in our education system. Just please see it.
For decades, people have been finding hundreds of flaws in the education system. No conceptual understanding, no creativity, children are stressed, and the list goes on. All these are symptoms. But what is the root cause to all this? What is the fundamental flaw in the education system? Let us play a rapid-fire game. You have 1 second to answer every question. Let's start. First question, A4? Okay, no more questions. Did you think apple first? 98% of people are most likely to think so. Because that was what we were told in our kindergarten. Imagine Imagine that this was done differently. Say we had asked you for all the words starting with A, and Ace, April, apt. Different answers would have popped out of everyone's head. Do you see where the problem is? Before children start going to school, every child is unique. Every child thinks different. But the education system makes every child think the same. This is the fundamental flaw in the education system. Why did this start? During the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, the education system was designed to make children ready to work in factories. The factories did not require people to think, but to only work like robots. So, the education system stripped children of their freedom to think and destroyed their true potential. The same education system continues even today. Only the industries have changed. A study by NASA shows that 98% of children think different before they start going to school. As they go through this education system, at 25 years of age, only 2% think different, and 98% think the same. So how does the education system make every child the same? Let's go back to the apple example. Kindergarten lessons told us that A is for apple. We asked you for words that start with A. Our education system gave us the answers. We asked you a question. Answers make you the same. Questions make you different. Right from kindergarten, the education system keeps giving answers. Instead of asking children how plants make food, the science teacher gives you the definition of photosynthesis. Instead of asking them to describe the sun, the teacher tells them that the sun is a ball of fire at the center of the solar system. Through their years in school, children lose the capability to think on their own. Whether it is their choice of career or their relationship or any situation in life, they become.
So you can very well imagine where the problem is. Our system, completely discourages students to think on their own.
Very true.
And this is a very, very serious problem. Why I am telling you that? We all teachers have to think about it. Nobody else will think for us. So, I personally feel teaching must shift its focus from lower order abilities like remembering and understanding to applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. But the problem here also is how to do that, because teachers themselves are also the product of the same system. So how will they suddenly change just by being on the other side? So there is a need to have a professional development and training on these lines. Only then, this is the root cause of the problem. Please remember, out-of-box thinking or creativity cannot come in one day. This is the habit which needs to be nurtured in our children. Another component is assessment. This was the third component. It has very important role because it tests the effectiveness of the teaching learning process. It should test the genuine understanding of the subject and not merely rote learning. It's very rightly said that assessment drives learning. The way you will start assessing your students, they will start learning in that. They will have no other alternative. So we change the system of assessment. Set such questions which make them think, which are analytical, which test their critical thinking abilities or problem solving abilities. So then you will be able to differentiate amongst students with different levels of competence. So assessment process therefore needs to be made more scientific to encourage multiple skills of the student. This is very, very, please try to understand this. CBSE has decided that from this year, class 10th and 12th examinations will be revamped, more focus on analytical questions, critical thinking, etc. But it's already very late, I personally feel. But still not too late. Then another challenge is, which I want to share with you, is that there is a serious dearth of creative minds. It's linked to the education system. For example, look at this. No Indian scientist working in India has been able to get a Nobel Prize after 1930. C.V. Raman was the last person. who got it in 1930, and it has been now 90 years. No Indian scientist working in India. Why? These people have got Gargobind Khurana, but then they were NRIs. They were of Indian origin, but they were working abroad. Even, Professor S. Chandrasekhar, perhaps he was the nephew of C.V. Raman, the son of his elder brother. So this is also a reflection on the quality of education.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, you need to present your screen again.
Why? What happened?
I guess, it has gone out of order. Somebody else presented in between.
So I stop and then come back again. Are you able to see my slides? No.
So
the slide is on the side, this thing. Slide.
It has gone on the slide, sir.
Let me stop it.
Again, you present and it will be done.
No, let me see again. Is it coming? No.
No, sir.
No.
Now you need to present it now, I guess.
No. Let me see. Why? What happened? Who did it?
Sir, actually somebody else presented their screen. It's a humble request to everyone. Please do not present your screen. See, it interrupts the flow.
You pin the presentation, then it'll
I
be.
will have to come back again. No, let me see. Is it
So
okay?
just present now, sir. You start presenting.
But then it interrupts the flow.
Yes, sir. We are really
But anyway.
sorry.
Let me see again if it comes normally. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. It is not coming.
Now let me start it again. Is it coming now? All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I
So I
think
go
we
back.
all need to pin it to the screen as per the suggestions so that it does not get disturbed in between. I'll try to
And
pin.
yeah, nobody should present in between.
Yes, ma'am, for sure. But we can also pin it to the screen.
Anyway, I just go to that slide.
Right.
Okay, I was here perhaps.
Yeah, Sibiram.
So I was telling that no Indian scientist has got Nobel Prize after 1930. So this is also a reflection in a way that a country with a population of about 1.4 billion and almost 90 years have passed since we got. I don't say that there are no peaks of excellence. There are always some peaks of excellence in our system. But whether they are because of the system or in spite of the system, that's the big question. So please also remember that Nobel Prize is not a lifetime achievement award. Yes, if you need to excel at that level, I have closely seen, because I have worked with a Nobel laureate. You need persistence and resilience. Unfortunately, we want immediate gains. That should not happen. Last year, chemistry Nobel Prize winner was 97-year-old. Just imagine. Then we need enormous amounts of creativity and open-mindedness. And then willingness to collaborate also. We don't collaborate. We prefer to work in isolation. We need to build enough bridges and not walls. This is the need of the hour. So I now come to part second as to what is the solution. And here I will talk about how technology is going to play a major role in enhancing the quality of education in the 21st century. about ICT, information and communication technology. The first question which will come to your mind is, what is ICT? See, it is an umbrella term that encompasses all communication technologies that provide access to information. Simplest definition: internet, wireless network, satellite communication, cell phone, digital TV, all come under ICT. And please see that ICT has impacted all areas of higher education. I will take the first most important area, impact of ICT in teaching and learning. And then I will take the remaining one by one. E-learning and MOOCs come under this. E-learning, many people know, but the simplest definition is electronic learning. Emphasis is still on learning. E is just a mechanism. So learning stands. So you can say that e-learning is a learning that uses ICT. But now the question comes, if you have to do learning, you need to do it from some content. That content is called e-content. And then how e-content is developed? E-content is developed from static content by its multimedia enrichment. So how do we do? Just simple language I will tell you. Suppose you have one semester paper of physics. Divide the syllabus into 35 to 40 parts, small parts. Just take one part. For that one part, some professor or subject matter expert will develop static content. Static content means writing, text, value additions, quizzes, graphics, images, whatsoever we as an academician can do. For that part, small part. Then technical team in coordination with subject matter expert will do multimedia enrichment. In that static content, wherever required, you will add audios or videos or animation or simulation to make learning more interesting. And then it becomes e-content. E-content for one, that part is called one module. So now you can very well understand that for one semester paper, there will be ultimately 35 to 40 such modules, which will have multimedia enrichment, static content, everything. But one thing you should notice as teachers, starting point is static content, and who writes that? Teachers. So your role is to come here. Without you, technical team cannot write the content. So a good quality e-content is that which has all those features which make self-learning exciting and interesting. Why do we add audio, video, simulation? Because, self-learning, it is self-learning, e-learning. There is no teacher present. So it should be so good, it should be so absorbing, so engaging that you remain glued to the content. Now let's come to the MOOCs. MOOCs is also a form of e-learning, but in a very structured manner. This is a term which was coined only in the year 2008. And as you know, MOOC is an acronym for Massive Open Online Course. We call it massive because in one course, lakhs and lakhs of people can enroll. Open we call because anybody can enroll until unless you want to obtain the grade. Then you need to have the formal qualifications. It is offered through online, and normally one course is one MOOC. For example, in MSc Chemistry, there are 16 papers in 4 semesters. So there are 16 MOOCs which we have prepared. We have prepared the maximum number of MOOCs in the country. Almost 50 MOOCs we have prepared. In chemistry, economics, commerce, all those things. So this is the whole development of a MOOC, because there is often a confusion. You take a static content. Static content includes what is written, multimedia enrichment, you get e-content. So you get 35 to 40 modules, you arrange them in a very systematic way starting from basics. So one MOOC is normally covered in 15 weeks, every MOOC. And this is the structure of a MOOC. As you can see, first 7 weeks are learning from those modules. Then there will be revision and assessment in week 8. Week 9 to 14 will be again learning MOOCs, remaining MOOC. And in week 15, again revision. And so in these 15 weeks, all those 35 to 40 modules are covered. On an average has 40-hour duration and 20 hours video it contains. For example, I have developed one MOOC in quantum mechanics. And for every MOOC, there is a 3 to 4 minute video telling you what is the content of each week. I can show you for 1 minute.
Dear students, welcome to this MOOC on quantum chemistry for postgraduate students. This MOOC, which you are required to complete in 15 weeks, has been developed in a very systematic and logical manner. In the first week, you will learn about the fundamentals of quantum mechanics, such as what is quantum mechanics, how did it originate, what's its role in chemistry, and how does it operate, etc. This will be followed in the second week by a detailed discussion on the role and properties of operator. 6 weeks, we will take up the simplest chemical systems. An introduction to extended circle theory shall also be part of discussions which are required to submit in time. Please note,
this is how a MOOC, for every MOOC there is an introductory video. So the basic philosophy of MOOCs, as you can see here, is 4 A's. Anytime, anywhere, anyone, any number of times. This is the beauty. And you can decide your own pace of learning. You can learn through your mobile phone, laptop, anything, you know. And then these are really economical. No cost until and unless you want to appear in an examination. In India, the task of development of MOOCs for various courses has been divided amongst various national coordinators. These are the coordinators. For example, UGC is developing for postgraduate disciplines. CEC is doing it for undergraduate. NPTEL is for engineering subjects, and so on. And you know, all these MOOCs which are developed in the country, they are uploaded on a learning management system called SWAYAM. It is also an acronym, as you can see. You go to this site and all the courses are available. You know, the vision is that once all these courses are ready, SWAYAM will provide ATM, anytime learning, just as we have ATM for money from the bank. That's the vision. And let me tell you, already in India, we have almost 2,000 courses which have been uploaded on SWAYAM portal. So next question will be how it is helpful for India. You can now yourself decide. I said gross enrollment ratio is less, so MOOCs can help you. Okay? Anybody in the country, anywhere can enroll in the MOOCs and learn from. Even teachers can also learn because they are developed by the top experts of the country. So access problem to some extent is solved. Then it makes learning learner-centric and interactive. In every MOOC, there are questions. You attempt them on the screen. If the answer is correct, it will tell you why it is correct, and if it is wrong, why it is wrong. And learning is just one click away. And then, you know, it's something like a very high quality education available to them. You know, we have 40,000-50,000 colleges and almost 1,000 universities, but then there is a serious dearth of competent faculty. So that problem can be solved. Then there are many lifelong learners. For them, it's a boom. And as I said, the best of it is something like the best of the country addressing the rest, because they have developed the MOOCs. And now, according to UGC, up to 20% of the courses you can learn through MOOCs in a semester. And recently it was told that it may go up to 40%. There are some challenges in the development of MOOCs. because quality is a factor, authenticity and interactivity. Then you need a proper coordination between academic team, which develops static content, and technical team, which do multimedia enrichment. We need to develop MOOC in a time-bound manner. Otherwise, if you take many years, by the time they are developed, they will be outdated. Courses might have changed. And another challenge in India is that most of our MOOCs are in English. We need to translate them into various languages to meet the aspirations of the local people. And please see in MOOC, I see your teaching ability being manifested. It should be simple, then clarity of expression, and then ability to come down to the level of the students. But all this in writing. In our teaching, we do everything in speaking. Here, everything is to be done in writing. So in future, your writing skills are going to play a very major role. Please keep it in mind. Another problem in India is internet speed, because how will the people access this MOOCs? It is through some device, but internet speed is quite low, 7 to 8 Mbps, whereas many countries have more than 25 Mbps. So we need to improve on that front. It's said that there are about 4.4 billion internet users in the world, but out of them, 600 are in India. And out of that, 40% are in rural areas. So digital divide is not that serious. Slowly it is being bridged. So I'm sure this problem will be taken care of. But one thing we should remember while developing MOOCs and online teaching, etc., one has to understand the science of learning. How does a learner learn? Please remember, online delivery or online teaching is teacher-centric, whereas online learning is learner-centric. And one has to understand how does learning take place, because learning is the basis of education. As one learns, it develops the cognitive ability of the learner. It gradually induces changes in the learner's actions and behavior. And when learning takes place in incremental steps, it changes with deep understanding and conceptual strengthening. It changes the mental and thinking models. That is how one grows. One has to understand the psychology of the learner. And once you learn quite a lot, then you try to apply the knowledge in practical situations in life, profession, or work. Therefore, teachers need to be massively trained and oriented for this online teaching learning. It's not that easy. We need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand. That is going to be the future, because it is the pen and paper of our time, and it is the lens through which we experience much of our world. So please keep this point in mind. Number of MOOCs learners is increasing. Recently, Finance Minister announced that top 100 universities can offer online courses. It's good. But then who will prepare online courses overnight? It takes a lot of time. You don't want to compromise on the quality. And then every university will have its own set of online courses. Then you need a learning management system like SWAYAM in your own university on which to upload them and then manage the whole learning process. But it will take time. Second is ICT is also being used in the revision of syllabi. That's very easy. Earlier, even in Delhi University, it used to take 2 to 3 decades to revise the whole syllabi. But with the period through email, discussion forum, video conferencing, periodic revision of syllabi has become relatively easier. We need to revise syllabi more frequently, but at the same time, we need to train teachers also in those new, syllabi, whatsoever is being introduced. ICT is being used in research also, because I said literature is becoming vast, but then electronic databases are now coming. They are the real information source of the 21st century. It's like a telephone directory. You don't learn telephone directory by heart. You know how to find out the number. Like that, there is a search engine for a electronic database, which will make the task faster and simpler. And ICT is also being used in assessment. Online examination. I remember in 2009, perhaps, when I was a director at IIL, we did the first online examination in the history of Delhi University in environmental studies paper. Advantages: it gives immediate results, saves time, uniform marking for the students, cost-effective, self-assessment. Yes. And now, even government has created National Testing Agency. This was created in 2017. And the mandate of this is to conduct various entrance examinations nationwide. These are the various exams, as you can see here, which are done by National Testing Agency. But again, the question is setting good question paper. That's the, and again, teachers will be required. Now you need some time to set questions. Audio visual based questions also can be done with technology, not only merely text. So you need to be trained. And the biggest more thing is ICT in professional development. It was clear when Dr. Savita Roy said that she did one refresher course when I was director CPDHE. You know, there in one batch of refresher or orientation course, there used to be 30-40 teachers and not much could be done.
I did ICT also, sir.
Pardon? And ICT also. Yes.
ICT also.
Yes. And now MHRD has launched a new scheme called ARPIT program. That is annual refresher program in teaching. But what the government has done is it has set up various natural resource centers in the country. And each national resource center has been given one discipline in which they are supposed to, you know, prepare or develop the online refreshers. We have National Resource Center of Chemistry. We have already developed two courses, ARPIT 2018 and ARPIT 2019. And in ARPIT 2019, we train almost nearly 6,000 teachers in the country. So that's the basic advantage. You know, Smriti Irani ji inaugurated this center, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Center.
आज मैं विशेष रूप से बधाई देती हूँ प्रोफेसर बख्शी को, विमल जी को। उन्होंने बहुत मेहनत करके इस सेंटर को जीवित रूप में आपके सामने प्रस्तुत किया। ये एक टीचर की ललक से उसके उत्साह का उदाहरण है।
Anyway, so I can go to the next. You know, focus of these ARPIT programs is on the latest developments in the discipline, then on new and emerging areas, and, you know, pedagogical innovations and methodologies for transacting curricula more effectively. And this is being done not only in chemistry, in all disciplines in the country. So all the teachers should benefit from such programs. I will just show you just a 3-minute video, an introductory video about ARPIT 2019 that tells you what sort of the contents of the ARPIT program are. Sorry.
Myself, Dr. Vimal Raj, and I am the coordinator of National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD, Government of India, and SGTP Khalsa College, University of Delhi.
And myself, Professor A.K. Bakshi. We welcome you all to the ARPANE 2019, which is going to provide you a unique opportunity to learn as per your convenience. For this online refresher course, we have selected a variety of interesting and exciting topics.
So that these are useful for all the UG and PG chemistry teachers of our country, irrespective of their specialization.
Let's have a look at the variety of the modules which have been developed with the help of leading experts from all over the country.
To begin with, we will have a special module as Chem News, which will bring the latest news to you from the world of chemistry.
The modules entitled Chem Talks will focus on the latest development as well as and emerging areas of chemistry.
In the Chem Safe Lab modules, we will focus on various measures to be taken to prevent accidents in our chemistry lab.
In the module on Chem Nobel Laureates, this time we will be focusing on life and contributions of Ernest Rutherford.
Through the modules titled Chem Pedagogy, we will highlight on improving curriculum development and question paper setting.
You will all agree that there are many difficult topics in chemistry. In the modules entitled Chem Simplified, we will take some of these topics and explain them in a very simple way. To commemorate 150th anniversary of periodic table in 2019, we have used in this course one module entitled Chem History.
Another interesting module of this online course is going to be Chem Industry, in which this time the focus will be on pharmaceutical industry and career options for our chemistry students.
In the Chem Error module, we will explain the correct usage of the SI unit.
There are going to be some other exciting modules as well, like Chem Misconceptions, Chem Applications, Chem ICT Tools, and Chem Quest.
We request all the higher education chemistry teachers of the country enroll in this online refresher course. At the end of the course, there will be a MCQ based test, and if you qualify it, you will be eligible for points as well as promotion under the career advancement scheme of the UGC.
But dear colleagues, more important requirements, let us self-learn on lifelong learning basis and take our education system to greater heights. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. So you can see that one ARPIT program has about 35 to 40 modules. And this is a report in Times of India about our work on the MOOCs. This is about our chemistry course. This is again about our chemistry course. This is my article in Education Times. So I am quoting. And one more area in which ICT has impacted is new pedagogical innovations have come. We all teach using talk and chalk method normally. This has many advantages, but there are many limitations. It is a teacher-centric approach, mainly a monologue. You can't explain complex concepts on the board. It presumes that all students learn in an identical fashion. You can't solve sufficient number of problems in the class. It is slow and time-consuming. booming, etc. But now with ICT, new pedagogies have come. Pedagogy means art of teaching. One is blended learning. Here you learn in the class through the teacher, and then you also learn online from a MOOC or some other resource. So this is blended. But one learning which is gaining immense popularity and which is said to be the learning of the future, that is flipped learning. See, in the traditional mode, teacher teaches in a class and then gives some homework activities. But in the flipped model, it is reverse. Teacher will give a video to the student to watch at home. Student will watch it 2-3 times, note down what he has understood, what he has not understood, what are the questions, etc. And then next day in the class, they will discuss from that stage onwards. So it is a flipped model. You can very well see that how it will be helpful. In the traditional model, in the class, you do remembering and understanding part. And the rest of the 4 parts, applying, analyzing, etc., they are done outside the class. How much students do or whether they do or not, that is a big question. But in the flipped model, remembering and understanding is done in the class through a video outside the class. You watch the video, and so these 2 things are taken care of. And then in the class itself, you do applying, analyzing, evaluating, and then you acquire higher order learning skills. But it's not easy. It will take time. Videos need to be prepared. Teachers need to be trained. So all that, but this is going to be the future, and many countries have started following this. Government has also launched rupees 9,000 crore plan to digitize education delivery. The focus is on flipped learning. Please remember, if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we are going to rob them of tomorrow. So we should change with the changing times. And then, another thing which is happening with this ICT and which has impacted is the roles of the teachers are going to change now. Traditionally, these are the roles: disseminating knowledge or creating knowledge, that means research, or academic administration and management. But, a teacher is expected to excel in all. I'm writing it for you. What makes a good teacher? In my opinion, in the traditional model, you need to have a full command over the subject. There is no excuse for that if you don't know the subject. Second is, your teaching should reflect the amount of thinking you have done on the subject. It's not merely passing down the information. As a matter of fact, before going to a class, you think of all the questions which can arise in a student's mind relating to what you are going to teach. And if you answer them on your own and present them in a very systematic and logical way in the class, student will think, oh, he or she is a great teacher. But it's not that easy. You need to work hard. You should have the ability to come down to the level of the weakest student. Please remember, a teacher is not only for bright students, or the weak students should not be left behind. So you should have the ability to explain even difficult topics simply. If you can't explain difficult topics simply, then you don't know the subject. And then you should also have the ability to deliver lecture in a very systematic and logical manner. Yes, and effective communication skills. And a teacher should be willing to improve on the basis of the feedback of the students. Because, in my opinion, for almost 30 years, I have always taken the feedback of the students. And you will be surprised to know, when you teach 30-40 lectures and a student observes you so minutely, he or she is able to comment on and give you a good feedback. A student may make any mistake, but a student will not make a mistake in identifying a good teacher. Keep this thing in mind. The influence of a good teacher can never be erased. Please remember it. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. That is left to you. Yes, you have to come out on your own. And in the 21st century, the roles are changing. Now you have to become tech-savvy teachers in ICT skills. These are very, very important, because students may be enrolled in from different places in the country in a MOOC. They may have some queries. So it's like a virtual classroom. You must learn how to manage it. You must learn how to manage a discussion forum. You should also be proficient in the development of e-content and MOOCs. And already UGC has announced that if you have proficiency, or if you have developed some e-content and MOOCs, you get credit in your promotion through API score. So what I really mean to say is, ICT, if used creatively, can make a big difference in the way the teachers teach and the students learn. Yes. And I would go one step ahead, that integration of ICT with higher education is essential, not necessary, essential for creating a holistic learning environment, focusing on quality, innovation, what a beautiful line it is. Technology can become the wings that will allow the educational world to fly further and faster than ever before, if we allow it. And many countries have started doing this. So it is that the sooner we do, the better it is in our country also. And I'm sure we will come up. And now the time has come when India needs a virtual university. Yes. This corona pandemic has rather put a demand. Yes, there should be virtual university. And I'm sure that SWAYAM portal with almost 2,000 courses already uploaded can be a very good starting point for a virtual university. Because ultimately in any virtual university, you need a learning management system with online courses. Already we have almost 2,000 courses. So one can think on those lines. And now we come to the last part. What next? ICT has impacted, we need to work. What were the problems? Quality can be improved. All those access can be taken care of. Equity is also taken care, because MOOCs will not differentiate who you are, rich and poor. Everybody gets the chance. So those aspects are taken care of. Third aspect is, now India is going to enter an era of education 4.0. Education 4.0 is total technology mediated education. This is going to happen now very soon. Everything technology mediated. To understand this, we have to understand that we are now in Industrial Revolution 4. First, we had Industrial Revolution 1.0, where water and steam were used to mechanize production. Then came Industrial Revolution 2, where electricity enabled mass production. Industrial Revolution 3, where IT, information technology, and the internet digitized production and distribution of services, etc. And now we are coming in Industrial Revolution 4, based on artificial intelligence, different digital technologies, etc. So Education 4 will need to align itself with the needs of Industrial Revolution. What type of skill set you need, what type of graduates you will need, what type of people you will need who will get absorbed in the various jobs as a result of Industrial Revolution 4.0. That Education 4.0 will have to align, produce that. So it's going to be a big challenge. So, it's very much the need of the hour that the sooner we do, the better it is. This was my article in Times of India, Education Times. I think on 27th May it appeared, how Education 4.0 will work for the coming generations. we have to think ahead. We as Indians cannot only be followers, we have to take a lead. So it's the right time that we take a lead. And these are some of the education technologies of future: artificial intelligence, robotics, virtual reality, machine learning, Internet of Things, all those. And now, all these things, one thing which sometimes worries me is that we people have come out of the education system. So now we are being trained. I personally feel that these ICT and many other technologies, this should be made a part of curriculum, so that the new students who enter, when they do the courses, along with, they learn all these things, so that once they come out of the university system, they are well equipped to meet the challenges. Otherwise, in India, it is becoming a big problem. I have been traveling all over the country and addressing the people. There is a serious lack of awareness amongst people. Many people don't know what is e-learning, what are MOOCs, how they will help. So that way, in awareness, there is a divide, I would say, significant divide. We need to work for that. For example, artificial intelligence now is being used for personalized learning. Personalized learning means learning as per your own requirements. Yes, nobody would have imagined that that would be possible. But now, but you should first know what is artificial intelligence. It's a branch of computer science. I think you all know. Basically, the concept is that you produce machines which think like humans. And they perform functions like learning, problem solving, planning, reasoning, and identifying patterns. That's basically artificial intelligence, and it works on some algorithms. Who develops algorithm? We people. So government has now launched a scheme called NEET scheme, National Educational Alliance for Technology. In this scheme, I am associated with this scheme. We use artificial intelligence to make learning more personalized and customized as per the requirements of the learnings. This is the Government of India scheme. So you can very well imagine that now the time is coming that if there are 10 students in a class, each student will have a separate curriculum based on his or her background, competence, knowledge, all that. That's how the things are going to change. So much personal. Nobody would have thought. Even artificial intelligence, they said other day, is going to be used for identifying, this infection of corona. Because they say that if you are infected with this virus, then your respiratory system is affected. And once the respiratory system is affected, the sound of the breathing or the sound of the cough changes. And the, patterns change which come out of that. And artificial intelligence is able to identify that. So just imagine all this is happening, and maybe in next 10, 15 years, things will totally change. And it looks, as if any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. It looks as if magic is going to happen. And one more question which will come to your mind and which I put in the beginning: will technology replace teachers? Must be one question in your mind. And it is also here. Please note, technology won't replace teachers. But teachers who use technology will probably replace teachers who do not. Because demand will be of such tech-savvy teachers. In our university, even in Delhi University, we have teachers maybe in the age group of 25 to 65. Some are very tech-savvy, some are not. So it's now the need. When we people became teachers, I became at a very young age. I was hardly 21 when I became lecturer in Delhi University. At that time, emphasis was always on knowledge. Yes, he's the topper, or must be good. Nobody talked about pedagogy. Nobody talked about presentation skill. We started teaching the way we wanted. But now things are changing. Technology will not replace great teachers, but the technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. Technology won't replace teachers in the sense also because, technology is the creation of human mind. And if technology tries to replace human mind will come out with a better technology. Ultimately, human mind will be supreme. So technology, you cannot equate it with human intelligence. That will be wrong. Technology changes the quality of life, no doubt, but it cannot replace human intelligence. This is my editorial on e-learning in Times of India. This is about our work. This is in Hindustan Times about self-learn with UGC MOOCs. This also. This is again in Education Times as to why we must focus on innovating our teaching approach. This is a recent article on using ICT creatively in higher education. This is about chemistry in HT education. This is an article about how chemistry education is going to change in the 21st century. And this article I recommend you should read. This is in Science Reporter. I wrote it for Science Reporter for young students and teachers, that how ICT is going to enhance the quality of education in the country. So this is in the May issue, last month issue of Science Reporter. And now I am at the end. I thought I would put something which is very dear to me and which I should share with you. What minimum a higher education faculty will need for success in the 21st century. In my opinion, this is my personal opinion, whatsoever I am sharing, most important thing is sound knowledge and clarity of concepts in your own discipline. This is a prerequisite for achieving excellence in the higher education. In order to excel as a teacher or in order to excel as a researcher, this is the first prerequisite. Then you now need pedagogy also, the art of teaching. Whether it is the traditional or whether it is the blended or whether it is the flipped, you must understand it. And if you want to excel as a researcher, you must be very creative and out-of-box thinker. Research is not so easy. Research, I remember I worked with a very famous person, Nobel laureate. He had one very beauty, even if a school student will come to him or her, he can explain his research level work to the student in a very systematic and logical manner, starting from his or her level, student's level. This is the beauty of clarity we need. So this is very essential. Communication and presentation skills, I said already, tech savvy you have to become. Writing skills, again, I am emphasizing. You should practice. You should start writing in magazines, newspapers, everything. We also started like that. Otherwise, we had hardly any formal training. And we were from very, very ordinary schools. But then working hard is required. Hard work is necessary. Proactive personality is very, very important. Even if you have everything, sometimes if you are of not having the right personality traits, you will not be successful in life. If you are proactive, you are focusing on preparing. But if you are reactive, you are focusing on repairing. So try to be proactive. And proactive is, they don't wait for the ship to come in. They swim out to the ship. That's the proactivity. You should have that. And this conveys everything. Personality is your charging, takes you to the success. And in personality, I would say self-belief, very important. Self-discipline, very important. Then, mindset is very important. Because the greatest burden which we carry is the burden of our own thoughts. And somebody very rightly says, you don't have the problem, you are the problem. So try to overcome that. No worries. You should have a very logical thing. Many people keep on worrying. Worry is a misuse of imagination. And you suffer more in imagination than in reality. Do your best and then forget. You can't do anything. Nothing you can do after doing your best. But then people, it becomes their habit. So they need to change their mindset. Work very hard. All those things are very, very important. And last thing is, which I always say, manage your time very well. Everybody gets 24 hours a day. President, Prime Minister, doctor, PM, anybody. The secret to your success is how well you manage your time. Please, and never be in a comfort zone. Try to come out of that. Most of the accomplishments people have got, they are when they came out of the comfort zone. Yes. There should be a, what I should say, self-motivation. Yes, I have to make it to the top. Remember, today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Keep this line in mind. I just put it today, yesterday evening, when I was preparing, I just came across a video which has no relevance with this. But I just thought how time changes the people. You know, how with time everything changes. I look at this, it is just half a minute. It is from the film industry, but it's good. It conveys a lot of meaning. So just see, these were the people who at one time had mass following. But see, time. So that's why I wanted to say, make the best use of time. That is why it is called a gift to you, present. Yes. And this is one very famous Amitabh's quote. कल खो दिया आज के लिए, आज खो दिया कल के लिए, कभी जी ना सके हम आज के लिए, बीत रही है जिंदगी कल आज और कल के लिए. This should not happen. Master yourself. If you master yourself, you can master the world. Look at this. At the end of the day, your biggest competition is you only. Your thoughts, your mindset, your self-belief, all those things ultimately. And somebody very rightly said, स्वर्ग भी तू है, नर्क भी तू है, इन दोनों का फर्क भी तू. जिंदगी छोटी नहीं होती है, लोग जीना ही देरी से शुरू करते हैं. जब तक रास्ते समझ में आते हैं, तब तक लौटने का वक्त हो जाता है.
सुनो गजर क्या गाए, समय गुजरता जाए, और दिन वाले भोले भाले सोना ना. सुनो गजर क्या गाए, समय गुजरता जाए.
जीवन कहीं भी ठहरता नहीं है, जीवन कहीं भी ठहरता नहीं है, आधी से तूफान से डरता नहीं है. तू न चलेगा तो चल देंगी राहें, तू न चलेगा तो चल देंगी राहें, मंजिल को तरसेंगी तेरी निगाहें, तो चलना होगा.
Thank you very much. It was indeed a great pleasure delivering this talk at this national webinar of Dorotram College. And thanks, Madam Principal, for extending this invitation to me.
Thank you, sir.
I would expect feedback from all the
Sure.
participants. I am giving my cell number, even my email ID. Do
Okay,
write
sir.
and remain in touch. Thank you very much, please. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. We have a few questions from the participants. I would like to ask you on behalf of them. Are you listening, sir?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Naresh, ask him. He's there.
Sir,
Hello.
Seek
sir,
his
we have,
permission.
Why is it not coming? Just a minute.
okay. Sir, the first question is from Dr.
Wait.
Deepika
Just let me
from
see why Zoom is
DRC.
not coming. Let me see.
How can virtual learning can take?
Wait,
How-
Naresh, wait,
Wait.
please.
Just a minute. Are you?
He is-
I'm not able to get the. Are you able to see me? No, na.
Yes, sir. We are
Yes,
able
we
to-
can see you, sir.
But I'm not able to get this Zoom.
So we are on
Go to
Google
sidebar on the 3 dotted line and change your this thing.
Yes,
layout.
I do, but it's not working right now. Just a minute. You just one minute.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Let me close it, or I will do it again. There's some problem here. Yes, it's working now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you able to see me now?
Yes, sir.
We can see you.
No, I can also now. Please come on.
Sir, the questions are, the first one is from Dr. Deepika from DRC.
Be louder, please. Be
How
louder.
can, okay. How can virtual learning take a student to empirical knowledge and practical application so as to help the country develop? And
No,
the
you are
second-
you are not. Your voice is not clear. Please be clear in your expression. I'm not able to get you.
Poonam, Poonam, can you read this question?
Ma'am,
Please
yes.
read it.
Yes. Just a minute. Naresh, can you forward the question to me?
It is there in the
Chat box.
Yeah,
chat box.
I will forward.
Ma'am, wait a minute.
In the meanwhile, I will read it, sir, for you.
Okay.
It is Deepshika from DRC. She says, how can virtual learning take a student to empirical knowledge and practical application so as to help the country develop?
Yes, I think it's a very relevant question, and this is one of the limitations of this learning process, because you would also ask that how the experimental work will be done, and even if tomorrow, once we open a virtual university, how it will do the experimental work in science subjects and where hands-on activities are required. These are the things for which work is being done. For example, I remember when I was in ILLL, we were doing all this, then we developed some e-labs. E-labs were that, we recorded a particular experiment and, wrote everything about that experiment, which students could see online, how this experiment is to be done, what precautions to be followed, etc. And then ultimately they will have to do hands-on at least once. There is no substitute for that, because what you learn by doing it yourself cannot be replaced by just watching it on a video or some screen.
That is precisely my question, sir. I have been part of the ILLL projects on MOOCs and also on EPG Pathshala, but I'm not very satisfied and happy myself because of this kind of shortcomings.
Yes. These are some of the limitations. Which subject did you prepare MOOCs? Hello?
Sir, I am from English.
Yes.
I am from English.
In these literary subjects, there could be a challenge, but where is the problem with you? You prepared a MOOC?
No, sir, my question was general. Like you were focusing on chemistry, and you talked about leading the world in terms of chemistry as well. But then, until and unless the students do it in a hands-on manner, how can we think of them leading the world?
I fully agree with you that this entirely cannot be done online. That is what I have to say. And this needs to be supplemented with hands-on activities wherever possible. Without that, it's not possible at all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
I-
sir. That's
Yeah,
true.
Poonam, then give him photo.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, you're calling.
Yeah,
Just a minute. Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening and enriching session. I really hope each one of us must have widened our horizon of knowledge. And, we have really learned a lot about this topic. It was a very well conceived presentation, very nicely presented, well conceived ideas, and like most importantly, like you answered a few questions that we had in our mind, like, will technology replace teachers? So literally speaking, we had this question in our mind, and you told us the answer, that it's not just the technology that will replace us. We need to update ourselves in terms of technology, and then we surely can lead the world, and as well as we can guide our students to do that. So, sir, thank you so much. And it was very nice, very, very fruitful presentation. And I really hope our participants would also have learned a lot from it. We need to improve ourselves. That is, and I personally would like to go through all of your articles and whatever has got published in the newspapers, sir. Thank you
You
so
know,
much, sir.
Thank you very much, Poonam. There are still many challenges in this. Because of this corona pandemic, suddenly we have come to this situation. We
Right,
were
sir.
not really prepared for this.
That's true. That's
I
true.
know many in my university, where I am the vice chancellor, many people were circulating notes on WhatsApp like that. We cannot call that online learning or online teaching.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't mean that anything you do from distance become online learning or online teaching.
Right.
Online learning, as I said, you have to understand the science of learning
Yes,
and
sir.
then accordingly prepare your material for that. Only then it will be a success.
Yes, sir.
And for this, we all teachers need to be trained and oriented. That's what I mean.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much, Poonam. It was a pleasure, and
Right.
all
yeah,
the
thank you, sir.
and Madam Roy also pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sir.
Thank
It
you.
was very nice talk. In fact, we liked it, all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
And
you.
my heartfelt thanks to Principal Ma'am also for her unwavering support
Oh,
and
my pleasure.
encouragement throughout our webinar. And I also express my thanks to all the participants for their overwhelming response. And a feedback form will be shared with you all, and your feedback will be valuable to us. Please fill that form. And thank you, everyone. The session is over.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Poonam.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.